Hello, and welcome to this quiet space, this moment carved out of time just for you. Here, in the soft stillness of now, we journey together into the most intimate of landscapes, the universe that resides within you. This is the Midnight Scientists, and our only goal tonight is to wander through the wonders of your own body at a pace so gentle, so slow, that you may find the path to a deep and peaceful slumber. Tonight, our journey takes us inward, along silent, shimmering pathways to explore the most intricate and magical system you possess. We are going to visit your nervous system. Do not try to understand with your mind. Just allow the words to wash over you. Imagine, if you will, a forest in the deepest twilight. And in that forest, a root system made not of wood, but of soft, glowing light. A web of whispering, silvery threads that connect every part of you. This living lattice of light is where your thoughts are born. It is how your limbs know how to move. It is where your feelings find their color, and where your memories are held, like sleeping fireflies in a moonlit jar. And all of this profound, ceaseless work happens in the most peaceful silence, while you rest here, safe and still, barely noticing. Now, as we prepare to begin, let yourself settle more deeply into this moment. There is nothing for you to do, nowhere for you to be, but right here. Feel the weight of your body being held, supported completely. Let your shoulders soften, releasing any tension they may have carried from the day. Imagine that tension melting away like snow in the warm spring sun, flowing down your arms and out through your fingertips, leaving only peace behind. Let your jaw unclench, your tongue rest softly in your mouth. Allow the tiny muscles around your eyes to smooth out, letting a feeling of profound calm settle over your face. And now, take a slow, gentle breath in, feeling the cool, clean air as it enters. And as you breathe out, release it with a long, soft sigh, letting go of everything but this moment, this quiet, this peace. Tonight, we will listen, not with our ears, but with the deep, intuitive part of our awareness. We will listen to the quiet, luminous conversation happening inside you, the very essence of your life. It does not shout, it does not make demands, it simply is, a silent, watchful presence. Without it, there is no world, no experience, no you. And as we begin this gentle exploration, please remember that this journey is designed for relaxation and wonder. The information shared is for educational and entertainment purposes and should not be considered medical advice. It is simply an invitation to marvel at the beauty of your own biology as you drift toward sleep. Chapter 1: The Two Great Realms. Deep within the architecture of your being, your nervous system is organized into two vast and interconnected realms. They are distinct, yet they are one, like the deep ocean and the endless sky that meets it at the horizon. These are the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. Let us begin with the heart of it all, the central nervous system. This is your brain and your spinal cord. This is the realm of deep thought, of command, of quiet contemplation. Imagine your brain first. Picture it not as a clinical organ, but as a silent, sleeping galaxy floating in the warm, safe darkness of your skull. It holds the weight of a universe, 100 billion stars, your neurons, each one a point of potential light. Within its soft, gentle folds and valleys, entire worlds of thought are born and fade. Memories drift like nebula of colored dust. Dreams are constructed like impossible, beautiful constellations that shine for a moment and then disappear. This galaxy is not chaotic. It is humming with a deep, quiet order. It is mission control, the grand library, and the high celestial court, all in one. Here, in this profound stillness, all the major decisions are made. Reports from the farthest reaches of your body arrive as whispers of light, and gentle commands are issued back, not as harsh orders, but as soft, guiding currents. It is the center of your being, and its work is so immense, so constant, that it proceeds in a state of near perfect silence. Descending from this celestial brain is the great river of light that is your spinal cord. Imagine it protected within the delicate, strong fortress of your spine, a luminous column, the main artery of information and command. It is the great trunk of the inner world tree, connecting the canopy of the brain to the roots that spread throughout the body. Messages from the brain flow down this shimmering river to the rest of you, and sensory whispers from your body flow up it back to the great library to be read and understood. It is both a highway and a sanctuary, a conduit of breathtaking speed and a center of ancient, immediate wisdom. And from this central, sacred core extends the second great realm, the peripheral nervous system. If the brain is a sleeping galaxy, then the peripheral system is the starlight that travels out from it, touching everything. Imagine a vast, infinitely intricate network of the finest silver threads, branching out from the spinal cord, from the great river of light, and weaving their way into every conceivable part of you. These threads are your nerves. They are the messengers, the sensors, the field agents. They are the delicate roots that burrow into the rich soil of your body, reaching every muscle fiber, every patch of skin, every internal organ. These threads carry messages in both directions, in a constant, gentle tidal flow. They bring sensory information inward, the feeling of the soft blanket against your skin, the distant, muffled sound from another room, the subtle temperature of the air you are breathing. These are the quiet reports sent back to headquarters. And in return, they carry motor commands outward, gentle instructions from the brain flowing down the spinal river and out along these threads, telling a muscle to soften, an eyelid to grow heavy, your breathing to deepen and slow. The harmony between these two realms is a perfect, effortless dance. Think of a moment when you were surprised by a sudden cool draft of air. In less time than it takes to blink, the peripheral nerves in your skin sent a message, coldness here, that raced along their length, up the spinal cord, to the brain. And almost instantaneously, the brain's interpretation, this is not a threat, it is just air, flowed back down, allowing your body to remain calm and relaxed. This is not a frantic, rushed exchange. It is an exquisitely efficient and peaceful flow. It is the biology of serenity, the design of life itself, operating with a grace that defies comprehension. And this network does not only handle speed, it is also the master of slow, subtle communication. It can carry the sharp, immediate signal of a sudden sensation, but it can also carry the slow, unfolding realization of a feeling, a mood that gradually colors your awareness like watercolor spreading on soft paper. This entire magnificent system, the central galaxy of thought, and the peripheral network of starlight is working for you, right now, in this very moment. It is the silent, invisible architecture of your peace. It asks for nothing. It simply serves, guarding, guiding, and maintaining the precious balance of your inner world, allowing you to let go, to drift, to sink deeper and deeper into rest. Chapter 2: The Quiet Architects of Thought. Now, let us draw our awareness even deeper, past the great systems and shining pathways, and come to rest in the presence of a single humble cell, the architect of your every thought, the artist of your every memory, the silent listener that perceives your world. Let us meet the neuron. If the nervous system is an enchanted twilight forest, then the neurons are its solitary, ancient inhabitants. They are not like the other cells of your body, which are bustling with the busy work of growth and replication. The neurons are the quiet ones, the mystics, the deep-sea philosophers, and the solitary stargazers of your inner world. Their entire existence is dedicated to one profound purpose: to receive, to contemplate, and to transmit the delicate electricity of life. They are the keepers of the secrets, the weavers of the dream, and they perform their sacred, silent work with a patience that spans a lifetime. Imagine one now, floating in the warm, quiet darkness of your mind. It has a distinct and elegant shape. At its center is the cell body, the soma. This is the heart of the neuron, its core. Think of it as a deep, still pool of water holding the quiet potential for a decision. Within this pool, all the messages the neuron receives are gathered, weighed, and considered, not in a frantic calculation, but in a moment of serene integration. It is the calm, thoughtful center from which all else extends. Branching out from this central pool, like the most delicate frost patterns on a winter window, are the dendrites. These are the listeners. They are the neuron's antenna to the universe, a forest of fine, feathery branches reaching out into the space around them. They are covered in thousands of microscopic receptors, each one tuned to receive the chemical whispers sent by other neurons. They do not judge the messages they receive. They simply gather them, like a tree's leaves gathering sunlight and dew, and draw that energy inward toward the quiet pool of the soma. And then, when the time is right, when the whispers gathered by the dendrites accumulate into a message of true significance, the neuron decides to speak, and it speaks with a single, pure voice. Extending from the soma is one long, beautiful, and solitary pathway. This is the axon. The axon is the path of intention. It is a single, shimmering thread that can stretch for immense distances, carrying the neuron's message far from its source. It is a bridge of light, a silent river, a conduit for a single, perfect thought. It is the neuron's way of reaching out to touch another part of your universe, to share what it has learned. This message it sends, the reply it offers to the universe, is a gentle electrical impulse called an action potential. It is not a violent spark or a sudden jolt. It is a soft, luminous ripple, a wave of starlight that flows from the soma and glides down the entire length of the axon with breathtaking grace and speed. It is a whisper made of light, and we will follow its journey in our next chapter. Now, this precious thread of the axon is often protected. In many neurons, it is wrapped in a beautiful, insulating sheath called myelin. Imagine this myelin as a string of luminous, iridescent pearls lovingly wrapped around the axon by the nervous system's quiet caretakers, the glial cells. This pearlescent coating is not merely for protection. It allows the luminous whisper of the action potential to travel with even greater speed and clarity. It does not have to flow along the entire path. Instead, it can leap effortlessly from one pearl to the next, gliding through the darkness in a series of silent, graceful bounds. These thoughtful, quiet cells come in different forms, each with a unique purpose in the great dance of your being. There are the sensory neurons. These are the watchers at the gates of your perception. Their dendrites reach into your skin, your eyes, your ears, and they listen to the outside world. They are the first to feel the warmth of the sun, the first to hear a gentle melody, the first to sense a soft touch. They translate the poetry of the physical world into the electronic language of your inner world, sending their reports inward to the great libraries of the brain and spinal cord. Then there are the motor neurons. These are the gentle doers. They take the quiet decisions made deep within your central nervous system and carry them outward as instructions. Their long axons reach into your muscles, and with a soft chemical sigh, they tell a muscle to contract, to release, to move your body through the world. They are how an intention, born in the silent galaxy of the brain, becomes a graceful movement, a soft breath, a gentle shift into a more comfortable position as you lie here now. And between these two, weaving everything together, are the interneurons. These are the dreamers, the connectors, the weavers of the grand tapestry. Residing almost exclusively within the brain and spinal cord, they form the incredibly complex networks that allow for thought, memory, and emotion. They receive messages from the sensory neurons, contemplate their meaning, and then pass on their wisdom to the motor neurons. They are the ones who create the rich, layered experience of being you. What is truly wondrous is that these beautiful, intricate cells are your lifelong companions. For the most part, you are born with all the neurons you will ever have. They have been with you from the very beginning, and they will be with you until the very end. They hold the entire history of your life within their silent, branching forms. And yet, they are not static. They are not rigid. They are living, breathing artists. They are constantly learning, changing, and adapting. This is the magic of neuroplasticity. When you learn something new, when you form a new memory, when you have a new experience, your neurons form new connections. They strengthen old pathways. They prune away what is no longer needed. They are always weaving new patterns into the luminous tapestry of your mind. So as you rest here, feel the presence of this silent 100 billion strong chorus within you. They are not separate from you. They are you, each one a tiny, perfect piece of your consciousness. They are listening, they are remembering, they are dreaming, and they are bathing now in this quiet moment of peace you are giving them, preparing for their gentle, luminous work as you drift into the world of sleep. Chapter 3. The Journey of the Action Potential. And so, the neuron rests in the deep, warm stillness of your inner world. Its feathery dendrites have gathered the chemical whispers from its neighbors, drawing their messages inward into the quiet, contemplative pool of the soma. There, a decision is made. A point of resonance is reached. The neuron has something to say, a message to contribute to the silent, cosmic chorus of your being. And now we will witness how it speaks. We will follow the journey of the action potential. Do not think of it as a spark or a jolt or a shock. That is the language of the busy outer world. Here, in the serene landscape of the mind, the action potential is something far softer. It is a ripple of starlight, a wave of liquid peace, a single luminous whisper that travels with perfect grace from one end of the neuron to the other. Before the whisper can be sent, the neuron must exist in a state of quiet readiness. This is its resting potential. Imagine the long, shimmering thread of the axon as a perfectly still surface of a deep, dark lake at midnight. The water is calm, holding a hidden energy. The world inside the axon is slightly more negative than the world outside, creating a gentle electric tension, like a coiled silver spring humming with potential. This beautiful, quiet tension is maintained by tireless, silent gatekeepers in the axon's wall, the sodium-potassium pumps. They work constantly, with no fanfare, ensuring that the balance is perfect, that the stillness is absolute, and that the neuron is ready for the precise moment it needs to speak. That moment comes now. The whispers gathered by the dendrites have reached a perfect harmony, a critical mass of meaning. The quiet pool of the soma has made its decision. A threshold is crossed. And at this tipping point, the magic begins. In the very first segment of the axon, invisible gates, the sodium channels, seem to dissolve like mist. And the sodium ions from the outside world, which have been waiting patiently, now flow gently inward. It is not a violent flood. It is a silent, silver tide rising with purpose. As this tide of positive charge flows in, the inside of the axon, once negative, becomes momentarily beautifully positive. This is it. This shimmer of changing energy. This is the birth of the luminous whisper. But this whisper does not stay in one place. It moves. The wave of light in that first segment of the axon gently awakens the segment next to it. Its gates dissolve, the silver tide flows in, and it too begins to glow. And then it awakens the next segment and the next and the next. Imagine a field of sleeping fireflies, and you touch the first one, causing it to glow. And its light gently causes the one next to it to glow, and then the next, in a silent, cascading wave of soft, golden light spreading across the field. This is how the action potential travels, a self-propagating wave of luminescence flowing down the entire length of the axon's dark, quiet path. And if this axon is one of the blessed ones, wrapped in the pearlescent pearls of a myelin sheath, the journey is even more graceful. The wave of light does not need to travel the entire path. Instead, it leaps. It glides from one tiny exposed gap to the next, like a celestial dancer skipping from one moonbeam to another across a still lake. This process, saltatory conduction, allows the luminous whisper to travel with an almost instantaneous speed, arriving at its destination purely, quickly, and with its message perfectly intact. And as soon as the wave of light has passed, each segment of the axon begins to return to its original state of quiet readiness. The gates that allowed the silver tide to enter now softly close. Other gates open, allowing a gentle exhale of potassium ions, which restores the peaceful, negative charge inside. This is repolarization. The axon returns to its deep, calm resting state. The firefly dims its light, ready to glow again when the time is right. And for a brief sacred moment after it has spoken, that part of the neuron cannot speak again. This is the refractory period. It is a necessary pause, a moment of silence to ensure the whisper only travels in one direction, forward, and that the message is never confused or muddled. It is the neuron taking a soft, quiet breath before it can choose to speak again. And the whisper itself is always pure. This is the all or nothing principle. The neuron does not half whisper. It does not mumble. When it crosses its threshold of meaning, it sends its luminous message with its full, beautiful intensity, or it remains silent. The strength of the sensation you feel is not determined by a louder whisper, but by the rhythm and frequency of many whispers, sent one after another, like the soft, steady beating of a distant, peaceful drum. And so, this entire exquisite process unfolds in less than the blink of an eye, millions upon millions of times every second within you. Every thought that drifts through your mind, every sensation you feel against your skin, every dream that paints itself behind your sleeping eyes is born of these countless, silent, and impossibly beautiful waves of light gliding through the starlit forests of your mind. They are the currency of life itself, and they are flowing through you now, a river of peace, carrying you ever deeper into stillness, into rest. Chapter 4: The Messenger's Crossing. The wave of starlight, that perfect, silent pulse of the action potential, has glided down the long, shimmering path of the axon. It has now reached the very end, a place of branching, delicate structures called the axon terminals. Think of this place as a quiet harbor at the edge of a great sea. The journey along the land is over, and now the message must be prepared to cross the water. The electrical whisper, so swift and pure, must now be transformed into something else entirely, something that can traverse the space between. For here, at the edge of all things, one neuron ends and another begins, but they do not touch. There is a space between them, a microscopic, sacred gap, a silent, shimmering gulf known as the synaptic cleft. This space is not an emptiness. It is a realm of pure potential. It is a testament to the respectful distance that all things in this universe keep. And it is across this tiny, quiet river that the most important messages are passed. The arrival of the luminous whisper at the axon terminal is a signal. It does not crash into the harbor walls, but instead, its gentle energy serves as a key. Its arrival causes special gates to open, not for sodium this time, but for calcium. Calcium ions flow softly into the terminal, and their presence is the gentle permission that sets the next miracle in motion. For waiting here, within the harbor of the axon terminal, are thousands of tiny, silken bubbles. These are the synaptic vesicles. Imagine them as luminous, sealed packets of starlight, each one containing a precious cargo. And that cargo is the very essence of the neuron's message, distilled into a chemical form. These are the neurotransmitters. They are not mere chemicals. They are molecules of meaning. They are chemical poems, bottled messages, the neuron's original thought now translated into a new language, ready for its journey across the water. At the gentle urging of the calcium ions, these tiny luminous bubbles drift toward the edge of the terminal, the shore of the synaptic river. There, they fuse with the membrane and, like a soap bubble softly bursting, they release their contents. The bottled messages are now unsealed. The chemical poems are set free. And now the neurotransmitters drift. They float with a slow, purposeful grace across the silent, shimmering gulf of the synapse. Motes of meaning dancing in an unseen light, carrying their message toward the distant shore. And on that other shore, on the feathery dendrite of the next neuron, there are receptors. These are not locks to be forced, but cupped hands waiting to receive a gift. They are perfectly shaped harbors, listening posts tuned to the specific song of a single type of neurotransmitter. When a drifting messenger molecule finds its perfectly matched receptor, it settles in, gently binding to it. And in that moment of connection, the message is delivered, the poem is read, the gift is received. And what is the message? It can be one of many things. Sometimes the neurotransmitter is excitatory. The message it carries is a whisper of encouragement. A molecule like glutamate might deliver a song that invites the next neuron to sing its own note, nudging it gently closer to sending its own luminous whisper onward. It is a soft green light, a gentle yes. At other times, the neurotransmitter is inhibitory. The message is one of peace, of stillness. A molecule like GABA might deliver a quiet lullaby. It is a gentle hand on the shoulder, a soft voice that says, "Rest now." It encourages the next neuron to remain quiet, to deepen into its own resting potential. It is a soft red light, a peaceful hush. And then there are the modulators, neurotransmitters like serotonin or dopamine. They do not simply say yes or no. Their message is more nuanced. They are the artists who change the color of the light in the room. They adjust the emotional temperature of the space. They can make a neuron more or less sensitive to other messages, shaping mood, motivation, and focus, not with a command, but with a gentle, pervasive influence. Once the message has been delivered, it cannot linger in the sacred space of the synapse. The clarity of the signal must be maintained. The space must be made ready for the next whisper. And so, the messengers are gently cleared away. Sometimes, in a process called reuptake, the original neuron that sent the message gently calls its messengers back home, drawing them back into the terminal to be rebottled for future use. It is a perfect, efficient cycle of conservation. At other times, special enzymes in the synapse act as gentle custodians, finding the messenger molecules and helping them dissolve into stardust, their purpose fulfilled. The message has been read, and the paper it was written on now vanishes into the quiet. This entire elegant exchange, this transformation from an electrical whisper into a chemical poem, This gentle crossing of a silent river and this perfect reception happens in a sliver of a millisecond. And right now, as you lie here, sinking deeper into comfort, there are not thousands, not millions, but trillions of these silent, sacred conversations happening within you. Trillions of messengers being launched and received, creating the vast, seamless, and peaceful inner world that is you. It is the quietest, most intricate ballet in the universe, and it is the dance that gives rise to your calm, your peace, and the gentle landscape of your coming dreams. Chapter 5. The Swift, Silent Wisdom of the Reflex. Have you ever touched something unexpectedly sharp or brushed against a surface surprisingly hot, and your hand has pulled away with a swift, fluid grace, all before you even had a moment to think? Or perhaps you have been at a doctor's office, and a gentle tap just below your kneecap caused your leg to kick out, a movement you did not command, but which happened all on its own. These are not mistakes. They are not random twitches. These are expressions of one of your nervous system's most ancient and elegant designs. This is the reflex arc. It is the path of instinct, a built-in system of profound, immediate wisdom that acts to protect you without ever needing to trouble your conscious mind. Think of it this way. The vast, dreaming galaxy of your brain is constantly occupied with the grand work of thought, memory, and imagination. It should not be bothered with every minor, urgent detail of physical safety. And so, the body has a deep trust in the wisdom of its own pathways. In moments of immediate need, the spinal cord, that great river of light, acts as a wise and loving guardian. It sees a situation and says to the brain, "Rest, I will handle this." This beautiful shortcut, this journey of a signal that results in an action without first traveling all the way to the brain for a decision, is the essence of the reflex arc. It is your body's perfect, built-in system of self-care. Let us trace the gentle, looping path of this wisdom. Imagine your finger brushing against the thorny stem of a rose. The journey begins with the sensory receptor. In your skin, there are watchful guardians, always alert. When they detect the sharp pressure of the thorn, they do not panic. They simply send a single, clear, urgent signal. Think of it as a silent bell chime, a note of pure information that says, attention is needed here. This bell chime is given to a sensory neuron, the first dedicated messenger. This neuron carries the urgent, silent note along a direct and unswerving path, racing inward toward the sanctuary of the spinal cord. The message arrives at the integration center within the spinal cord. Here, in this place of local wisdom, the message is not put on hold to be sent up to the brain. Instead, it is received by an interneuron, a swift and wise translator. This interneuron instantly understands the meaning of the bell chime. It knows that the message means danger, and it knows that the proper response is release. Without a moment of hesitation, the interneuron passes a new message, a command for safety, to a motor neuron, the second dedicated messenger. This motor neuron carries the return command, pull away, be safe, out from the spinal cord and along its own pathway, back toward the muscles of your arm and hand. The message arrives at the effector, which in this case is the muscle. The muscle is the obedient and trusting servant. It receives the command and, with a fluid, instantaneous grace, it contracts. Your hand pulls back from the thorn, safely out of harm's way. And here is the most beautiful part of the story. This entire journey, from the touch of the thorn to the pulling away of your hand, has happened in a fraction of a second. And only now, after your body is already safe, does the original message of the bell chime continue its more leisurely journey up the spinal cord to your brain. Only now does your conscious mind become aware of the sensation. You feel the sharpness, but you feel it an instant after your wise, loving body has already moved you to safety. It is the ultimate act of trust, a system designed to protect you first and inform you second. Some of these pathways, like the gentle tap on the knee, are even simpler. They are a monosynaptic reflex, a direct conversation between the sensory messenger and the motor messenger, with no translator in between. It is a single, perfect echo of action and reaction, the purest form of the body's instinct. Others, like the withdrawal from the thorn, are polysynaptic, involving that wise interneuron. This allows for even more complex, coordinated responses. As your hand pulls away, other reflexes are already at work, adjusting your posture, ensuring you maintain your balance. Your body does not just react, it reacts with a deep, holistic intelligence. This silent, swift wisdom is always with you. It is a reminder that you are being constantly cared for, protected from within by a system of ancient, loving intelligence. It is a process that allows your conscious mind to remain at ease, to float, to drift, to dream, knowing that the deep, instinctual wisdom of the body is always awake, always watchful, and always keeping you safe. Chapter 6. The Weaving of Neural Circuits. If you could gaze upon your nervous system with an artist's eye, you would not see a machine of wires and switches. You would see a living, breathing work of art, a vast, luminous tapestry woven from 100 billion threads of light. Each thread is a neuron, but the true magic, the breathtaking beauty, lies in how they are woven together. These patterns of connection, these interwoven pathways of light, are your neural circuits. They are the constellations of your mind, the luminous highways of your body, the living architecture of your very being. A single neuron is a solitary note, but in the circuits, they form a grand, silent symphony. The structure of this symphony, from the simplest melody to the most complex composition, follows a beautiful and timeless framework, a journey in 3 parts: the gathering of whispers, the quiet weaving, and the gentle creation. The journey always begins with sensory input. This is the gathering of the threads. From all over your body, countless tiny streams of information are flowing inward, carried by your sensory neurons. These are the whispers from the world. The feeling of the air on your skin, the subtle scent of the room around you, the gentle, rhythmic sound of your own breathing. These are not yet experiences. They are raw data. They are like skeins of unspun silk, shimmering with potential. They are the individual notes of a song that has not yet been arranged. They flow from the edges of your being inward toward the great, quiet loom of your central nervous system. And here, in the silent, contemplative chambers of your brain and spinal cord, the second part of the journey unfolds: integration. This is the weaving. This is not a cold, mechanical process. It is a deep and thoughtful deliberation. The brain receives these thousands of threads of sensation, and with an ancient, innate wisdom, it begins to weave. It filters out what is unimportant, allowing the gentle feeling of your clothing to fade from your awareness so you can focus on resting. It recognizes patterns, connecting a feeling of warmth with the comfort of your blanket. It compares the sensations of this present moment with the deep stored memories of your past, imbuing the experience with meaning. This is the nervous system's version of contemplation. It does not simply react. It receives, considers, and then forms a coherent, thoughtful response. Like a master weaver, it chooses which threads to bring to the forefront, which colors to highlight, and what beautiful and meaningful pattern to create from the raw material of sensation. Once the pattern is decided, the final part of the journey begins: motor output. This is the creation. The decision, now woven into a clear intention, flows outward from the brain and spinal cord, carried by your motor neurons. This is thought translated into action. The tapestry now has a new, living design. This action can be as clear as the conscious choice to shift your position into one that is even more comfortable. Or it can be as subtle and unconscious as a deepening of your breath, a softening of your muscles, a gentle sigh of release. Whether you are aware of it or not, the circuits are constantly completing their work, weaving your intentions into the physical reality of your body. The simple reflex arc we just explored is a circuit in its purest form, a single perfect thread of input, integration, and output. But the circuits that weave your thoughts, your emotions, and your dreams involve millions, even billions of neurons, all firing in precise, harmonious patterns across multiple regions of your brain. Think of recognizing a beloved, half-forgotten piece of music in a dream. The auditory circuits gather the notes. The memory circuits search the vast archives of your past. The emotional circuits color the experience with a feeling of sweet nostalgia. All of these different constellations of thought light up at once, singing together in a beautiful, resonant harmony. And this living tapestry is never finished. It is constantly being rewoven. This is the profound magic of neuroplasticity. The circuits are not static. They are fluid and alive. With every new experience you have, a new thread of a different color and texture is woven into the design. When you practice a new skill, the neural circuit involved becomes smoother, stronger, and more luminous. You are tracing the pattern again and again, not with effort, but with gentle attention, until that pathway glows with an inner light and the skill becomes effortless. And even now, as you lie here, listening and drifting, new connections are being gently formed. Old pathways that no longer serve you may be quietly unraveled, their threads ready to be used for a new and more peaceful design. Your brain is a bit like a garden in a perpetual state of twilight. The pathways that are used regularly grow strong and clear, while others fade like untended paths in the woods, returning to the earth. Information within these circuits does not always travel in a straight line. It meanders, it loops, it echoes like birdsong in a dense forest. A single sensation can ripple through multiple circuits at once, which is why a certain scent can suddenly unlock a vivid memory from childhood. The pathways overlap and intersect in the most beautiful and unexpected ways. This is the architecture of you. Your personality, your habits, your hopes, your quirks are all patterns woven into this living, breathing network of connections. And it is all happening now, in the most profound peace. The great loom is quiet, its work continuing even as you sleep, weaving the fabric of your dreams, repairing the threads of the day, and preparing a fresh canvas for the morning to come. Chapter 7. The Windows to the World. The world outside of you is singing a constant, silent song. It is a song of light, of pressure, of vibration, of chemistry. It is the poetry of reality itself. And yet, all of this richness, all of this beauty would remain unknown without the most exquisite of translators. These are your senses. You do not simply see light, or hear sound, or feel touch. What you experience is the beautiful, intricate story that your nervous system tells you about these things. Your senses are the windows to your inner world, and your brain is the artist that paints the masterpiece you perceive as reality. They are not passive recorders, they are active and wondrous interpreters. Let us begin with the most ancient and immediate of languages, the sense of touch. Your skin is a living parchment, the vast and sensitive boundary between you and the world. Draped over your entire body, it is constantly reading the story of your immediate environment. Within this soft protective layer are millions of tiny, specialized nerve endings, each one a guardian, a watcher, a storyteller. Some are tuned to the language of pressure. There are receptors that feel the whisper of a light touch, like a single thread of silk being drawn across your skin or a soft breeze passing by. Others respond to a deeper, more reassuring pressure, the comforting weight of your blanket, the firm and gentle support of the surface beneath you. Others still are dedicated to the story of temperature. They murmur to your brain about the gentle warmth that envelops you or the subtle coolness of the air on your face. And some, the nociceptors, are there to speak the language of protection, sending a clear, loving signal to be careful, to be gentle with yourself when something is too sharp, too hot, too much. They are not messengers of pain, but messengers of care. Now, let us turn to the chemistry of nourishment, the sense of taste. Your tongue is home to thousands of tiny, enchanted gardens known as taste buds. Within these gardens, specialized cells are waiting to decipher the chemical secrets of everything that enters your mouth. They recognize 5 fundamental notes in the song of flavor: sweetness, the echo of sunshine and energy; saltiness, the ancient memory of the ocean; sourness, the bright, sharp note of unripe fruit; bitterness, the deep, protective warning of the earth; and umami, the rich, savory, and comforting note of nourishment itself. Your brain takes these 5 simple notes and weaves them together with the aroma, the texture, and even the temperature of food, composing the rich and wonderful symphony that you experience as flavor. And so closely related to taste is the most ancient and direct of all the senses, the sense of smell. The air around you is filled with invisible messengers, tiny odor molecules drifting on the currents of your breath. When they enter your nose, they are received in a special chamber where they bind to olfactory neurons. This is the only sense that speaks directly to the deep emotional and memory centers of your brain, the limbic system. This is why a scent is like a magic key. A single, fleeting aroma, the smell of rain on dry earth, of old books, or of a certain flower, can unlock a forgotten room in the vast house of your memory, and you are instantly transported not just to a thought, but to the entire feeling of a distant time and place. Let us now listen to the dance of vibration, the sense of hearing. A sound begins as a vibration in the air, a wave of pressure rippling out from its source. These waves travel into your ear and arrive at a delicate membrane, the eardrum, causing it to dance to the same rhythm. This gentle dance is passed along 3 of the tiniest, most jewel-like bones in your body, which amplify the motion and deliver it to the entrance of a beautiful spiral-shaped structure that looks like a tiny seashell. This is the cochlea, your inner ocean. It is filled with fluid, and as the vibrations arrive, they create soft, corresponding waves within this fluid. Lining the spiral passages of this inner ocean are thousands of unimaginably small hair cells, like delicate reeds in an underwater garden. As the waves pass by, they bend these reeds, and this gentle swaying motion is what is finally translated into the electrical language of your mind. Every sound you have ever heard, from a whisper to a thunderclap to the music that has touched your soul, was once just a silent dance of these tiny reeds in your own private ocean. And now, the art of light, the sense of vision. The world is bathed in a constant, silent river of light made of countless particles called photons. Your eye is an exquisite living lens, gathering a part of this river and focusing it onto a living canvas at the very back of your eye, the retina. On this canvas, 2 kinds of master artists are at work, the rods and the cones. The rods are the artists of twilight. They are incredibly sensitive to even the dimmest light, and they paint your world in all the subtle, beautiful shades of silver, shadow, and gray. The cones are the artists of daylight. They work with the 3 primary colors of light, red, green, and blue, and by blending the signals from these 3, your brain is able to mix every conceivable hue in the universe, creating the rich, vibrant, colorful world you see. Your brain takes the millions of points of light and color from this canvas, and in an act of pure magic, it completes the masterpiece, filling in any gaps, stabilizing the image, and creating for you a single, seamless, and stable view of the world. Finally, there is a quiet, internal sense, one you may rarely notice, but one you could not live without. This is proprioception. It is the body's own gentle whisper to itself. It is the unspoken knowing of where your limbs are in space. As you lie here now, with your eyes closed, you can feel the position of your arms, your legs, your hands. You do not need to look, you simply know. Silent storytellers in your muscles, tendons, and joints are constantly murmuring to your brain, describing your posture, your orientation, the angle of every joint. This is the foundation of balance, of grace, of all coordinated movement. It is your sense of physical self, the quiet anchor that holds you in your body. And so, all of these streams of poetry, touch, taste, smell, hearing, sight, and self-awareness are constantly flowing into your nervous system. And in the great, quiet loom of your brain, they are woven together into one single, unified, and seamless experience. This is perhaps the greatest miracle of all, that from so many different threads, one perfect, coherent reality is created, just for you, moment by moment, breath by breath. Chapter 8. The Silent Choreography of Movement. Movement begins not in the muscles, but in the quietest, most contemplative chambers of the mind. It starts as a flicker of intention, a gentle, unspoken wish, a thought as soft as a feather drifting down in the silent, dreaming landscape of your brain. Imagine the simple, peaceful act of turning over in your sleep, an act you perform without thought, without effort. And yet, behind this simple motion is a symphony of coordination, a silent ballet of such complexity and grace that it is nothing short of a miracle. The birth of this movement begins in a special region of your brain's cortex, the motor cortex. Think of this place not as a stern command center, but as a master choreographer. It is a gentle artist who, upon receiving the whisper of an intention, turn over, be more comfortable, begins to plan the entire dance. It does not just send a single, crude order, it envisions the movement in its entirety. It calculates the precise amount of force needed, the exact timing, the beautiful, flowing sequence of which muscles must soften and which must gently contract. It imagines the movement into being, painting a picture of the action in the language of neural signals, all before a single muscle fiber has even begun to stir. Once this beautiful, silent plan is complete, the message begins its journey. A cascade of luminous whispers flows downward from the highlands of the motor cortex, traveling along the great river of the spinal cord. These signals are carried by the upper motor neurons, the first messengers who carry the grand, sweeping intention of the dance. Deep within the protective sanctuary of your spinal cord, these messengers pass their instructions to the lower motor neurons. These are the local messengers, the ones who travel the final pathways out to the body. Each one carries a specific part of the choreography, a single note in the symphony, destined for a particular group of muscle fibers. The long, shimmering axon of the motor neuron arrives at its destination, the place where the nerve ending comes infinitesimally close to a muscle cell. This is the neuromuscular junction, the final, sacred space of translation. Here, the electrical whisper of the action potential arrives, and with its gentle energy, it allows for the release of a chemical messenger, a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. Imagine this not as a chemical trigger, but as a soft, final sigh of permission, a key whispered across the tiny gap that unlocks the potential for movement in the muscle. The muscle cell receives this gentle whisper and responds. With a beautiful, fluid grace, proteins inside the fiber slide past one another, and the muscle contracts. It is the physical expression of the mind's quiet poetry. The intention, born moments ago in the silent theater of the brain, is now a living physical reality. But for a movement to be truly graceful, it must be refined. And for this, the nervous system has two master conductors who oversee the entire performance. The first is the cerebellum, a beautiful, densely folded structure at the back of your brain. The cerebellum does not start the dance, but it watches it with an expert eye. It is the master of grace. As you move, it receives constant, real-time updates from your muscles and joints, and it compares this feedback to the original plan from the motor cortex. If there is any discrepancy, any hint of imbalance or clumsiness, the cerebellum makes instantaneous, microscopic corrections. It ensures that your movements are smooth, coordinated, and perfectly balanced. It is also the keeper of practiced movements. Skills that you have learned so well they have become second nature, like walking or riding a bike, are stored here, not as memories of facts, but as living poems of motion. The second conductor is a collection of deep, quiet structures called the basal ganglia. If the cerebellum is the master of grace, the basal ganglia are the masters of stillness and flow. They help to initiate wanted movements and prevent unwanted ones. They are the gatekeepers of motion, helping to gently release the brake when a movement should begin and to softly apply it when the movement should come to a peaceful end. They filter out any stray, unintentional signals, ensuring that the silence between your movements is as pure and deliberate as the movements themselves. And through all of this, the constant, gentle whisper of proprioception is flowing back to the brain. Your body is always murmuring its story back to your mind, creating a perfect, unbroken loop of feedback. The brain speaks, the body responds, and the body's response is felt by the brain, allowing for a continuous, harmonious conversation. Even now, as you lie in perfect stillness, this entire magnificent system is alive within you. It is not dormant. It is in a state of peaceful, potent readiness, a hum. The choreographers, the conductors, the messengers, and the dancers are all resting quietly, prepared to translate even the gentlest intention, the decision to shift your weight, to take a deeper breath, or even the subtle, unconscious intention to let go and drift deeper into sleep, into a soft and living reality. The act of relaxation itself is a kind of movement, a gentle, intentional release orchestrated by the silent poetry of your nervous system. Chapter 9. The Wondrous Gift of Neuroplasticity. For a long time, we believed the brain was like a sculpture, carved in early life and then remaining fixed and unchanging forever. But now, we know the truth is something far more beautiful and alive. Your brain, your entire nervous system, is not a sculpture. It is a living garden. It is a flowing river. It is a sky that is never the same from one moment to the next. This remarkable, fluid quality, this ability to change its own structure and pathways, is called neuroplasticity. It is the gift of gentle, constant transformation. It means that the brain you have in this very moment is not the exact same brain you had yesterday, nor the one you will have tomorrow. It is always learning, always adapting, always becoming. At the heart of this magic is a simple and profound principle. You may have heard it said that neurons that fire together wire together. But let us rephrase it with a gentler image. Imagine that when two neurons are active at the same time, when they are singing their electrical song in harmony, the connection between them becomes stronger, clearer, more familiar. It is like walking the same path through a quiet forest day after day. With each journey, the path becomes a little smoother, a little clearer, a little easier to travel. The two neurons, by speaking and listening to each other repeatedly, deepen their friendship. The synapse between them becomes more sensitive, more attuned. The listening neuron may even put out more receptors, more cupped hands, to better receive the other's message. This is how a pathway is strengthened, how a skill is learned, how a memory begins to form. But just as important as the strengthening of paths is the wisdom of letting go. Neuroplasticity also involves the gentle weakening and pruning of connections that are no longer needed. This is not a loss, it is a sacred act of clearing. Think of a master gardener tending to a rose bush. The gardener lovingly prunes away the old, faded blooms and tangled branches, not out of harshness, but so the plant can direct its precious life energy toward new, healthy growth. In the same way, Your brain gently unravels the threads in the tapestry that are no longer part of the beautiful design you are becoming. It creates quiet, open spaces in the mind, making room for new patterns, new learning, and new peace to emerge. This is the very essence of learning and memory. When you learn a new skill, perhaps a new language, or how to play a gentle melody on an instrument, you are patiently tracing a new pattern in your neural circuits. With each moment of soft focus and repetition, you are strengthening that pathway, making the threads more luminous until the skill becomes second nature. A memory is not a single file stored in a dusty cabinet. A memory is a constellation of neurons that have learned to sing a particular song in perfect harmony. And when you recall that memory, you are simply inviting that specific constellation to light up once more, to sing its sweet, familiar song again. This gift of plasticity is also the source of the brain's incredible power to heal and adapt. If one part of the nervous system is injured, the brain, with its boundless creativity, can begin to find new solutions. Over time, healthy areas can learn new jobs, pathways can be rerouted, the rivers of light can carve new channels, taking on the responsibilities of the damaged regions. It is like a forest after a fire, beginning the slow, patient, and miraculous work of regrowth. It is a testament to the profound resilience of life itself. And you, as you rest here, are the gentle gardener of this inner world. Every experience you have, every kind thought you think, every moment of peace you cultivate, even the simple, restful act of listening to these words is tending to your garden. New, gentle, and positive experiences are the sunlight, the water, and the nourishment that help your garden grow in the most beautiful and peaceful ways. Even now, as you let go and drift, this quiet, hopeful process of change is happening. And sleep itself is the most sacred time for this work. When you are asleep, the gardener is busiest. It is during your deep, peaceful rest that the lessons of the day are consolidated, the important pathways are strengthened, and the garden is gently cleared and tended to, preparing the fresh, fertile soil for the morning to come. There is a deep reassurance in this. You are never stuck. You are never finished. You are always, in the quietest and most gentle of ways, a living, flowing, and ever-becoming miracle. Chapter 10. The Living Sea of Memory. Memory is perhaps the most magical of all the nervous system's gifts. It is the thread that weaves our past into our present, giving us our sense of self. And yet, it is not a simple recording. It is not a library of books with fixed and unchanging words. Your memory is a living, breathing landscape. It is a vast and shimmering sea of impressions, feelings, and stories. It has its own mysterious and gentle logic. It can hold on to the sound of a forgotten lullaby from your earliest childhood with perfect clarity, and yet let the memory of what you had for lunch yesterday dissolve like a cloud. This is not a flaw. It is the heart's own special way of deciding what is truly worth keeping. To understand this living sea, we can imagine it exists at different depths, each one more peaceful, more timeless than the last. The journey of a memory begins at the sunlit surface. This is sensory memory. Every moment, the world is offering you millions of tiny impressions. The feeling of the sheet against your skin, the faint, distant hum of the house settling, the soft pattern of shadows in the room. These impressions shimmer on the surface of your awareness for just a second or two, like the play of light on water. Most of them are meant to be fleeting. They kiss the surface and then dissipate like the gentlest of ripples, leaving the water clear and calm. But if you give your gentle attention to one of these shimmering impressions, it is drawn down a little deeper into the calm, clear shallows. This is your short-term memory or your working memory. This is the conscious part of your mind, the place where you hold a few precious shells in your open hands, admiring them for a moment. The shallows are a sacred space, but they can only hold so much light at one time. This is why you can remember the beginning of this sentence as you listen to the end. But it is also why, if you walk into a room with a purpose, a new and unexpected sensation, a sudden cool draft, a forgotten object on the floor, can be like a soft, gentle wave that washes the shells from your hands, and you are left wondering what you came for. It is a gentle reminder to do one thing at a time. And then there is the great deep. This is long-term memory. When an experience is meaningful enough, when it is touched with emotion or visited with gentle repetition, it is not left in the shallows. It begins a slow, graceful descent into the vast, mysterious, and silent depths of your inner ocean. Here, in this luminous archive, memories are kept safe. Here, they become part of the very water of your being. The process of this descent is called consolidation, and one of the master guides of this journey is a beautiful seahorse-shaped structure deep in your brain called the hippocampus. Think of the hippocampus as a master pearl maker. It takes the different threads of a single experience, the sight, the sound, the feeling, the scent, and with a gentle, loving magic, it weaves them all together into a single luminous pearl. And then, when you sleep, the quiet, dark, healing tide of your slumber carries this new pearl down into the great deep of your long-term memory to find its perfect resting place. This is why sleep is so essential for memory. It is the sacred nightly ritual of carrying the treasures of the day down into the timeless safety of the archive. And when you wish to recall a memory, you are not pulling a dusty file from a shelf. You are calling to the deep. You are inviting that specific pearl to release its light once more. You are inviting the constellation of neurons that holds the memory to sing its song again. But because this is a living sea, the song is never quite the same. Each time you remember something, the memory is gently reshaped, colored by your present mood, by new wisdom, by the simple passing of time. Your memories are not static photographs. They are living stories, and you are always gently retelling them to yourself. And what of the memories that fade? What of forgetting? This is not a failure. It is one of the most compassionate functions of the mind. Forgetting is the ocean's way of letting the sand settle, of letting the water become clear again. It is a necessary and gentle release. It is the gift of letting go, which clears the space for new treasures to be found, for new peace to be discovered. It is a form of quiet, constant healing. So as you rest here now, feel the presence of this vast, peaceful ocean of memory within you. It is calm tonight. The waters are still. It holds the sum of all the love you have ever known, all the beauty you have ever seen, all the wisdom you have ever gained. It is the thread that connects you to yourself. And it is here, in this quiet stillness, that the gentle work continues as you drift and float on the calm, deep waters of your own being. Chapter 11. The Weather of the Soul. Emotions are the weather of our inner world. They are the subtle currents and the deep, silent tides that move through the ocean of our being. They are not chaotic or random. They are a form of deep, non-verbal wisdom, a language that the heart and body use to speak to us. They arrive like clouds on the horizon. They stay for a while, and then, if we allow them, they drift on, leaving the sky clear and peaceful once more. The source of this inner weather can be found deep within the brain, in a collection of interconnected structures known as the limbic system. This is not a cold, mechanical center. This is the emotional core of your mind, a warm, ancient, and sensitive place where feelings are born. At the heart of this system is the amygdala. Do not think of it as an alarm bell of fear, but rather as the ancient, watchful guardian of your heart. Its job is to pay attention, to notice what is truly important in your experience. When something significant happens, something beautiful, something surprising, something that touches you deeply, the amygdala highlights it with a kind of luminous ink, whispering to the rest of the brain, "This matters, remember this." It is the keeper of your safety and the curator of your emotional significance. Working in perfect harmony with this guardian is the hippocampus, the master storyteller we have already met. When the amygdala highlights a moment with feeling, the hippocampus gently weaves the story around it. It records the details, the place, the time, the gentle sound of a voice, giving context and meaning to the emotional tide. This is why our most powerful memories are so often intertwined with our deepest feelings. And from this core, there is a bridge that connects the world of feeling to the world of your physical body. This is the hypothalamus. It translates the silent, internal language of an emotion into a physical sensation. It sends the gentlest of signals that can influence your heart's rhythm, the depth of your breath, and the warmth of your skin. This is why you do not just think an emotion, you feel it throughout your entire being. The feeling of deep peace can be felt as a slowing of your heart, a deepening of your breath. The feeling of joy can feel like a lightness in your chest, a warmth spreading through you. These are not just metaphors, they are the physical expression of your inner weather, orchestrated in perfect, quiet harmony. This physical expression is guided by the two great branches of your autonomic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is the rising tide. It is the energy of activation. It is the quickening pulse you feel not just in fear, but also in excitement and delight. And its gentle counterpart, the parasympathetic nervous system, is the receding tide. It is the soft, deep exhale that brings you back to a state of calm, glassy stillness. It is the feeling of your muscles softening, your heart rate slowing, your entire body returning to a state of profound peace. As you rest here now, you are inviting this gentle, receding tide to wash over your entire being. The quality of this weather is also colored by the delicate chemistry of your brain. Special neurotransmitters act as the artists of your emotional palette. Dopamine is the gentle glow of satisfaction, the soft inner warmth of pleasure or a task completed. Serotonin is the feeling of quiet contentment, the deep, unspoken sense that all is well in your world. And oxytocin is the profound warmth of connection, the feeling of being safe, held, and cared for. And watching over all of this with a calm and compassionate gaze is the higher region of your brain, the prefrontal cortex. This is the wise observer. It is the part of you that can look upon the rising tide of a feeling without being swept away by it. It has the gentle power to name a feeling, and in the simple, loving act of naming it, this is sadness, this is joy, it can soothe it. It brings a loving understanding to the weather of the heart, allowing the clouds to drift by without resistance. So as you lie here, floating on the calm, deep waters of your own being, simply allow any feelings that are present to be here. There is no need to push them away or hold on to them. They are simply currents passing through. Let them be like clouds in the vast, open sky of your awareness. And know that beneath any weather, there is always a deep and abiding stillness. Sleep is the time when the emotional seas become calm, when the water becomes clear, and when your entire being can rest in the perfect, peaceful silence of the deep. Chapter 12. The gentle, nightly miracle of sleep. And so you lie here, at the edge of the waking world. The day, with all its thoughts, feelings, and sensations, is now a distant shoreline, growing softer and dimmer with every gentle breath. Ahead of you lies a vast, peaceful, and welcoming darkness. This is the world of sleep. Do not think of it as falling or as a loss of control. Think of it as a gentle surrender, a homecoming. It is the nightly pilgrimage your body and mind take to a place of profound healing, restoration, and quiet magic. It is a loving act of letting go. It is a common misunderstanding that when you sleep, your brain simply turns off, but that could not be further from the truth. Your brain does not shut down. It simply begins a different, more ancient, and perhaps even more important kind of work. Imagine your mind is a grand and beautiful house. Sleep is the time when the busy daytime residents have all gone to bed, and now in the deep quiet of the night, a silent, diligent, and loving crew emerges. This is the night crew of your brain, and they have come to clean, to repair, to sort, and to dream. Your journey into sleep is not a sudden drop, but a slow, graceful descent, as if you are walking down a soft spiral staircase, deeper and deeper into a place of perfect peace. The first few steps on this staircase are stage 1 sleep. This is the threshold, the beautiful, hazy space between worlds. Here, you are simply drifting. You are floating on the calm surface of the water. The sounds of the world outside become distant and unimportant, like echoes from a life you have momentarily left behind. Your thoughts lose their sharp edges, becoming fluid, dreamlike, and gentle. As you take a few more steps downward, you enter stage 2. You are sinking a little deeper now. Your heart rate begins to slow, becoming a soft, steady, peaceful drumbeat. Your body temperature gently drops, as if you are wrapping yourself in a cool, quiet blanket of peace. Here, the night crew is just beginning its work, sending brief, shimmering bursts of electrical activity through the quiet hallways of your mind, checking the circuits and preparing the house for the deep work to come. And now you descend further still into the deepest, most silent, and most healing chamber of the house. This is stage 3, or deep sleep. You have reached the bottom of the staircase and have entered a silent cathedral. The electrical rhythms of your brain become slow, powerful, and rolling like a deep, silent ocean swell. Down here, in this profound quiet, the most sacred physical healing takes place. The night crew is now focused on restoring your body. Growth hormone is gently released, tissues are mended, your immune system is strengthened and replenished. Your physical body is being lovingly repaired in the perfect, undisturbed stillness of the deep. After spending some time in this deep healing silence, you begin to ascend the staircase again, but not to wakefulness. You ascend into the most magical room in the house. This is REM sleep, the theater of dreams. Here, your brain becomes beautifully active again, its electrical rhythms looking almost as if you were awake, and yet your body remains in a state of perfect, safe stillness. This is a loving gift from your nervous system. It sends a gentle message of paralysis to your voluntary muscles, a protective, loving embrace that keeps you safe and sound, so that your mind is free to have the most incredible adventures. And in this safe stillness, your brain begins to dream. It takes the feelings, the images, the memories, and the hopes of your day, and it weaves them into stories. It paints impossible, beautiful landscapes. It composes strange and wonderful music. It is processing your emotional world, sorting through the archives of your heart, and speaking to you in a language of symbol and metaphor. Throughout the night, you will cycle through these stages, descending into the deep, silent cathedral for physical healing, and ascending to the magical theater for emotional and mental sorting again and again. The librarian of your mind is at work, strengthening the important memories of the day and gently sweeping away what is no longer needed. The emotional seas are being calmed, washing away the residue of stress and worry. And a gentle, cleansing tide is flowing through the very pathways of your brain, washing away the metabolic dust of your waking hours, leaving your mind clean, clear, and refreshed for the morning. And so, as you lie here now, you can feel yourself on this journey. You are on that gentle spiral staircase, and you can give yourself permission to descend. There is nothing else to do. There is nowhere else to be. The loving, diligent night crew is here, ready to take care of everything. All that is required of you is to trust, to let go, and to allow yourself to drift into the sacred, healing darkness. Chapter 13. The Body's Gentle, Automatic Pilot. Even now, as you float in this deep state of peace, your life's most essential functions continue with a perfect, effortless grace. Your heart beats a soft, steady rhythm. Your lungs draw in and release the air in a gentle, tidal flow. Your body maintains its perfect temperature. You do not have to think about any of this. You do not have to command your heart to beat or remind your lungs to breathe. It is all being done for you by a deep and ancient wisdom within. This is the work of your autonomic nervous system. The word autonomic means self-governing, and that is precisely what this system is. It is the wise and gentle pilot of your inner world, the silent orchestra conductor who ensures that all the background music of your life is played in perfect harmony. Your conscious mind, the part of you that thinks and dreams, has lovingly delegated these vital tasks to this deeper intelligence, freeing you up to experience the world and now to rest completely. This silent guardian has two main branches. They are not opposites, but partners in a beautiful, constant dance. They are like the in-breath and the out-breath, two parts of a single, perfect rhythm that maintains the balance of your life. The first partner in this dance is the sympathetic nervous system. Think of this as the energy of the sun. It is the spark of activation, the rising tide that readies you for engagement with the world. It is the system that quickens your heart not only in moments of stress, but also in moments of joy and excitement. It is the feeling of aliveness, of readiness. In our busy modern world, this sun energy sometimes shines a little too brightly for a little too long, and we can feel tired from its constant light. But the second partner is the parasympathetic nervous system, and this is the energy of the moon. This is the energy you are embracing now, in this moment of deep rest. It is the gentle, cooling rain that soothes the sun-drenched earth. It is the deep, restorative sigh of release. Its purpose is to help you rest and restore. As you sink deeper into relaxation, this lunar energy becomes dominant. It sends a soft, calming whisper to your heart, inviting it to slow down. It speaks to your lungs, encouraging your breath to become deeper, slower, and more peaceful. It gently nudges your digestive system, reminding it that now, in this time of safety and peace, it can do its slow, nourishing work. It is a gentle, downward spiral into the most profound state of calm. One of the most beautiful pathways of this calming system is the vagus nerve. Imagine it as a great, wandering river of peace that flows from the base of your brain down into your body, touching your throat, your heart, your lungs, and your belly with its serene current. And you are connected to this river through your breath. Every slow, deep, gentle exhale is a message you are sending along this river of calm. With each out-breath, you are sending a signal to your entire being, a whisper that says, "I am safe. All is well. I can let go even more." The ideal state of your being is a fluid, graceful dance between these two energies, the sun and the moon. And sleep is the sacred time when the moon energy is allowed to take the lead. It is a time for the sun energy to rest and recharge. It is a nightly rebalancing, a return to the quiet, gentle center of your being. So as you rest here now, know that your silent guardian is on watch. You can release all effort. You can let go of all control. Your heart is being beaten for you. Your lungs are being breathed for you. Every quiet, essential rhythm of your life is being tended to with a perfect, loving, and effortless wisdom. You are completely cared for. And in this perfect safety, you are free to surrender completely to the deep, healing peace of sleep. Chapter 14. The Quiet Miracle of Myelin. Imagine again the long, shimmering thread of a single axon, stretching out to carry its luminous whisper from one part of your inner world to another. For this message to arrive with perfect clarity and grace, especially across the vast distances of the body, it needs to be protected. It needs to be insulated. It needs to be nurtured on its journey. The nervous system, in its infinite wisdom, has created the most beautiful solution. It is not a crude coating or a simple layer of insulation. It is a living, luminous sheath, a soft blanket of pearlescent light that is lovingly wrapped around the axon. This is myelin. This beautiful sheath is woven by the silent artisans of your nervous system, the glial cells. In the great central galaxy of your brain and spinal cord, these weavers are the oligodendrocytes. In the peripheral pathways that stretch out into your body, they are the Schwann cells. Think of them as loving caretakers. They see a long, bare axon, and with an innate, artistic wisdom, they begin to wrap it, layer upon luminous, fatty layer, creating a thick, soft, and protective covering. It is an act of devotion, repeated millions of times throughout your body, ensuring that every important message is kept safe and pure on its journey. But this luminous sheath is not wrapped like a single continuous blanket. The artisans leave tiny, sacred gaps. Imagine the axon as a dark thread, and the myelin as a series of long, iridescent pearls strung along it. The dark, quiet spaces between the pearls are just as important as the pearls themselves. These are the nodes of Ranvier. And here is where the true magic happens. We have spoken of the action potential as a wave of light, a luminous whisper. In an unmyelinated axon, this wave must flow along the entire length of the thread, a continuous and steady ripple. But in an axon blessed with the gift of myelin, the whisper does not need to flow. It can leap. The wave of starlight is born at one node, in one of those dark, quiet spaces between the pearls. And then, instead of traveling through the insulated segment, it vanishes, and in the same instant, reappears at the very next node. It is a flicker of light, disappearing and reappearing, leaping from one sacred gap to the next. Imagine a dancer moving across a still, dark river at night by leaping from one smooth, polished moonlit stone to the next. The dancer does not touch the water in between. She simply appears on one stone, and then the next, and then the next, crossing the wide river in a few breathtakingly graceful bounds. This is how your neural messages travel. This is saltatory conduction. It is a silent, beautiful, and impossibly fast dance of light. This is the biological secret to effortlessness. This silent, leaping speed is why a simple thought can become an action in an instant. It is why your protective reflexes are so swift. It is why your movements can feel so fluid and coordinated. It is the quiet work of myelin that allows for the grace and precision of your entire being. And this beautiful process is one that develops patiently over time. When a baby is born, many of its neural pathways are not yet fully wrapped in their luminous sheaths. This is why a baby's movements can seem uncoordinated at first. But slowly, patiently, over the course of childhood and adolescence, the silent artisans do their work. They spin and weave their myelin, and as they do, movements become smoother, thoughts become clearer, and the entire nervous system becomes a more efficient and harmonious orchestra. And even now, this luminous sheath is being tended to within you. It is the insulation for your inner peace. ensuring that the gentle, restorative signals of your nervous system travel purely and without interference, especially now, in this deep state of rest. It allows the quiet lullabies of your parasympathetic system to reach every part of you, inviting you to let go, to soften, and to drift even deeper into the silent dark. Chapter 15. The Silent, Loving Support of the Glia. In the great, starlit theater of your mind, the neurons are the famous actors. They are the singers of the electrical songs, the ones who generate the thoughts, the memories, and the dreams. And because they are so brilliant, we often give them all of our attention. But for every singer on the stage, there must be a vast and silent crew working in the shadows, ensuring the lights are perfect, the stage is clean, and the performer is safe and cared for. In your nervous system, this silent, loving support crew is the glia cells. The name glia comes from a word meaning glue, and for a long time it was thought that was their only job, to simply hold the brilliant neurons in place. But they are so much more than glue. They are the living, intelligent mortar that holds the sacred temple of your mind together. They are the unsung guardians, the silent, humble majority. And without their tireless, devoted work, the neurons could not sing their beautiful songs. Let us meet these quiet caretakers. First, there are the astrocytes, named for their beautiful, star-like shape. These are the master nurturers of your brain. With their many gentle, reaching arms, they tenderly connect to the tiny blood vessels that flow through your brain, drawing out the purest nourishment, the oxygen and glucose, and offering it directly to the neurons they care for, like a mother bird feeding its young. These starlit cells are also the keepers of the chemical peace. After the neurons have whispered their chemical poems across the synapse, the astrocytes gently move in and mop up any excess neurotransmitters, keeping the synaptic rivers clean and clear for the next conversation. They ensure the environment is always perfectly balanced and serene. Then there are the microglia. These are the tiniest of the guardians, but they possess the fiercest love. Think of them not as soldiers, but as the diligent, microscopic gardeners of your inner world. They wander the quiet pathways of your brain, constantly tidying up. They gently prune away old, unused synaptic connections, like a gardener trimming a vine to make it stronger. They clear away any cellular debris, sweeping up the fallen leaves of a busy day, ensuring the garden is always fresh, healthy, and has open, fertile space for new growth to occur. We have already met the master artisans, the oligodendrocytes, and the Schwann cells. They too are part of this loving family of glia. They are the weavers of light, the patient craftspeople who spin the luminous, pearlescent sheaths of myelin, allowing for the grace, speed, and clarity of your every thought and feeling. And finally, there are the ependymal cells. These are the keepers of the sacred inner river. They line the quiet, fluid-filled chambers deep within your brain, and with the gentle waving of their tiny cilia, they help to produce and circulate the cerebral spinal fluid. This is the clear, pure, life-giving water that bathes, cushions, and cleanses your entire brain and spinal cord. These guardians ensure this sacred river is always flowing, always pure. And so, you are not just a collection of brilliant singing neurons. You are also held, supported, nourished, and cleaned by this vast, silent, and loving community of guardians. They are constantly at work, asking for nothing in return, their only purpose to ensure that the singers on the stage can perform their miracles in an environment of perfect peace, safety, and support. As you lie here now, feel this deep internal support. Feel the presence of these trillions of unsung guardians, all working in perfect, silent harmony for you. You are being profoundly cared for from within. And in this perfect, supportive stillness, you can let go. You can release all effort. You can allow yourself to be held, to be tended to, as you drift ever more deeply into the healing dark. Chapter 16. The Unbroken Striving for Balance. Your nervous system is like a vast and perfectly tuned musical instrument, capable of playing the most beautiful and intricate symphonies of life. For most of our lives, this instrument plays its music in flawless harmony. But sometimes, in the journey of life, a string may fall out of tune, or a section of the orchestra might lose its rhythm for a time. This is not a story of brokenness. This is a story of resilience. It is the story of the music itself and its profound, innate desire to find its harmony once more. This final part of our journey is about hope and about the quiet, unbreakable strength of the life force that flows through you. Sometimes the challenge comes as a change in the delicate chemical weather of the mind. A river of a particular chemical messenger may begin to flow less abundantly. When the gentle current of a neurotransmitter like dopamine begins to soften, the body's ability to perform its effortless dance can be challenged. But even here, there is a deep striving for balance. The brain, with its incredible plasticity, begins to learn new ways to dance with a quieter rhythm. And modern medicine can often offer a gentle hand, helping to replenish the flow of that missing chemical river, restoring grace to the body's poetry of motion. Sometimes the challenge comes as a disruption in the quiet electrical harmony. For a moment, a sudden, brief thunderstorm of electricity can roll through the neurosky. And for that moment, the quiet, steady rhythm is lost. But like any storm, it passes, and the deep, innate drive of the system is to return to the calm, clear sky that follows. And here, too, gentle care can help to soothe the weather of the mind, creating a climate where the thunderstorms are less likely to form. And sometimes a pathway of light can be blocked, or a bridge can be broken. In these moments, the brain's response is one of the most beautiful expressions of life's creativity. The great, wise river of neural information does not simply stop. It begins the slow, patient, and miraculous work of carving a new channel. Through the gentle gift of neuroplasticity, neighboring areas of the brain, like loving communities, can begin to learn new songs, taking on the responsibilities of the regions that have been challenged. The process of rehabilitation is simply the loving and patient act of teaching the brain these new melodies, of helping it to discover its own profound capacity to find another way. In every challenge, the story is the same. The nervous system is always, in every moment, striving for balance. It is always seeking a return to wholeness. This is the deep biological imperative for healing that is woven into the very fabric of your being. So as you rest here, feel this deep, resilient wisdom within you. Know that your own nervous system, right now, in this very moment, is a perfect expression of this healing intelligence. As you sleep, you are participating in this profound restorative process. You are offering your entire being the sacred gift of time and peace to rebalance, to restore, and heal. Trust in this innate wisdom. It is the quiet, unbreakable strength that holds you. It is the deep, resilient peace that is your truest nature. A final reflection: the universe within. And so, our long and peaceful journey through your inner world comes to a gentle close. We have wandered through the starlit forests of your mind, met the silent, thoughtful neurons, and witnessed the luminous whispers that carry the messages of your life. We have floated on the living sea of memory and felt the gentle tides of the heart. We have visited the sacred, healing darkness of sleep and met the silent guardians who watch over you, always. All of this entire, magnificent, and impossibly complex universe is you. It is humming with a quiet, peaceful, and intelligent light right now as you lie here. It does not need you to manage it. It does not need you to understand it. It only asks that you trust it. It is the source of your strength, your creativity, and your profound capacity for peace. It is the quiet, unbreakable center of your being. Thank you for taking this journey with me tonight. If this exploration has helped you find a moment of peace and you feel so inclined, a simple like is a quiet way of helping other curious minds find their way to this place of rest. And you are always welcome to subscribe for more sleepy science in the future. But for now, all of that is the world of doing, and you are now in the world of being. There is nothing left to do, nothing left to figure out. There is only the gentle, rhythmic tide of your own breath carrying you out into the calm, deep, and silent ocean of sleep. Sleep well, and may the quiet, loving universe within you grant you the most peaceful and restorative of nights. See you in next video. Good night.